welcome to the Two Mortgage Guys podcast. I'm here with Brooke Nun, interim CEO and president of the Temecula Chamber of Commerce. And if there was ever a moment for us to have an artificial sound inseminated with applause, this would be it. I really appreciate that you're here today. And honestly, I've been kind of giddy about this happening because you're a wonderful person. I know that's really hard to hear and accept from somebody just pouring that on you, but it's really been fun to get to know you and kind of get to see what your heart is like for the valley that I've grown up in. As you heard in my intros when I first joined the chamber a few months ago and just kind of getting to talk to me, been here for 34 years. I've seen everything and anything happen to it, from sheep where the mall used to be to the one lowly produce stand we had on 79 South before it burned down and all of that stuff. So getting to see someone that's jumping in where you're at now and trying to help kind of guide that vision from where things were to where they are now and that family kind of atmosphere that the city's always had has been really a treat to be a part of that with you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's exciting to hear the history, I think, of this town and where it's come from and where it is now. And it's nice to know, that we still have that hometown feel, even though we've grown so much. So, even in our business community, it's the same. Yeah,
honestly, that's a really wonderful point you touch on. Something that Temecula has done tremendously well. I mean, what do we have? How many 100,000 something people in it?
Yeah.
And it's not a small town anymore.
No.
But it still always has operated as if it is.
Yes.
Because I've had friends who are in here for 5-6 years, and they still refer to it as a town.
Right.
And you don't get that usually with the amount of populace that we have.
That's true. Yeah. You're
and
right.
I would not trade that away for the world. Minus the traffic that we have at the 215 junction.
Yes.
we've had a pretty good, town feel. So I guess that's kind of a nice segue for me to ask you, so something that I've been curious about for a while is looking at the chamber, is why did it come about? What is it trying to accomplish? I could give you from a observational standpoint, but always better to hear from the person that's actually operating it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the chamber exists to support the business community.
Okay.
So we provide resources, advocacy, and education, networking opportunities. We bring the business community together. We're also problem solvers, so anything within the business community that businesses need help with, business owners, leaders, we are there. And we also have an amazing relationship with our city as well. So whenever a business needs anything, they can call us and we can connect them with who they need to be connected with.
Yeah, I'm trying not to let my face erupt with smiling, but I'm smiling anyways, because that makes me feel incredibly good, because I've been in hospitality and service industries, very large team working atmospheres, right? Mm-hmm. And typically when you think of business, the first thing you think about is not usually how businesses collaborate so well together.
Right.
Right? Usually it's on the news of someone cut someone's throat, there's a financial struggle, right? You know what I'm going with that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We're so fortunate in our business community here because all our business owners and business leaders like to do business with each other, and it's been like that since the beginning. And I think a lot of our legacy members have led the way for that, and we continue that as well. And we've brought them together in roundtable discussions. We have different things that come up, whatever's needed in our community to help businesses. Everybody comes together, even if they're similar businesses and they want to support one another.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the idea of even representing the word legacy in a collaborative effort is phenomenal. I mean, if you think about the different kind of tentacles, if you want to call it that, appendages you guys have lent out with Valley Young Professionals, the Ambassador Program, the Legacy Program. You guys have so many different smaller entities of yourself. And I think that's a testament to the fact that you guys see the big picture. It's the reality that it's not about one individual organization trying to be the master for all. It's how do we become something, kind of almost all things to all men, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the chamber is really good at being a convener. So whatever the issue is or whatever's needed, we are able to pull those people together to make the change. Our business community and the owners and the leaders, they care so much, as do we. And all of us, many of us, live in this community. Some of us have grown up in the community as well. So we have so many roots and so much heart here.
Yeah.
And we care so much about it. And I think that's, shown in, our different ways of promotion and bringing people together, networking, and just all the different ways we are able to collaborate with the different stakeholders in our area.
No, that's well said. And so when things go wrong, leadership always know first. But when things go well, they're the last to know, if at all, right? So let's be honest. We know how this works. This is reality. So to kind of, again, shine the light on you in a positive way, like that's a dissemination of your leadership. Because if the top isn't doing it and that's not what they believe, it's not in their fabric, everything you just mentioned doesn't happen. Because it won't sustain. And so just like a great organization, you guys have created almost a valley-wide organization of support from people within. And kind of a perfect example of that, it's funny, I'm on an email thread with Sydney from the Chamber. She's the head of the Valley Young Professionals. She does a phenomenal job at that. And she had emailed me to liaison with, I don't want to say the name of the person because I don't know if I have the permission, but with another individual who's in the Chamber, and to have that meeting. And the person on the thread that was being liaison was like, wow, I'm in a bunch of chambers, and this is the only one that has ever reached out to do that for me.
Wow.
And that's a big testament, that because he's like, usually people, we put their money in and we're done. We have to do the rest ourselves. Right. So for you guys to kind of have that legs and feet, the hands and feet to that, and be out and to make an impact, so where a small business owner goes, wow, my chamber cares about me.
Right.
That's cool.
Absolutely. And we really do. Yeah. I know from my years of working at the Chamber, my favorite thing is learning and meeting all the business owners and learning about their businesses. Right. I love learning about their stories, but when you get to meet them, then all of a sudden you meet their families, their siblings, their kids, their parents. You get to know all of them, and I think that makes us so unique. And within our Chamber, it is very important for us to reach out to our members and just ask them, how are you doing? What can we do to help you? What keeps you up at night? Yeah. How can we help solve, any of your business problems? Especially
after a year like 2020.
Yes.
I mean, to hear that, if there's not, every small business in the Inland Valley should be listening to this right now, just from that last statement you made. Because after what I've heard my friends go through after 2020 and the things that they had to survive, hearing that's like a warm blanket, oh, there is light at the end of the tunnel, There is someone that still cares that I exist.
Absolutely. And, even through 2020, looking back at that, the leadership that we had in place at that time, she was amazing at communicating with everyone and getting vital information out to all of our members and businesses.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were closing things down, opening them back up. Things were changing constantly. Yeah. So people were looking to us for that information. Yeah. We took that on, and we felt that was very important.
Yes, of course you're speaking about Emily.
Yes, of course. Yes.
And Emily is, I'm going to brag a little bit because she's my cousin. I'm going to be like, family, what's up, We're getting a little too gangster for a podcast right now, but especially repping the CEO of Chamber. But I'm super proud of the job she did. And it's funny, we actually got to have a little lunch not too long before I fully went entrenched into the Chamber. And I told her, I was like, dang, looking at the way this world operates, I was so proud of what she's done.
Yeah, she worked so hard through all of that. We are financially doing very well. We were able to keep our doors, not open, but keep us working during that time. Yeah. And we were able to service the business community during that time, which was very special to us.
Well, and to kind of redirect the light back to you, I know that's not like your favorite thing to have done to you, but I like doing it to you because I don't think it's done enough. And the transition, like I said, I was just in a meeting with Eric Bungie this earlier today, and the transition that you've been able to pick the ball and seamlessly run with it. I mean, ironically, we just came through the Olympics, right? And we see what baton tossing can do, and you guys did it like you were, all pro athletes. And for you to be able to run with this chamber, for them to not miss a beat, to still do these events, to come out of COVID in full blast, go into the gala, and do these amazing events that remind people that there's some normalcy to life, they're going to remember that for a lifetime. That's fantastic.
Oh, that's wonderful. That means so much. I know the gala was a huge event to put on for us. It is every year, but it was just extra special this year, with getting everyone back together who hadn't seen each other in so long.
Yeah.
But I did want to touch on the seamless transition.
Sure.
I wish I could take all the credit for that.
Sure, go ahead.
But I do want to give credit to Emily. She did take time and, work with me. She is still available whenever I need anything. She's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
She set everything up for me so I could come in, and it was just completely smooth. And then we also have an incredible board of directors as well.
Do.
We have 20 of them right now,
wow.
and our chairman is Al Rubio.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have to give him tons of credit because,
Sure.
all of them as well for being there and being supportive through all of this change and transition and, just whatever we need.
Yeah.
It's amazing to have 20 different business owners, experts in different fields there to help with whatever we need.
Yeah, it's like a never-ending mentorship.
Yes,
and
it's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. I didn't mean. I hope that didn't come off like a negative spin, but to have, because I've met Al, he's a wonderful man, and he clearly knows what he's doing. He's just intelligent as all get out to talk to, and sometimes I'm over here like, yeah, I know that word, but he's just a very humble man too, to be able to come in, and I think that's something that you guys share well, is the humility and meekness to allow businesses approach you and not feel like they're knocking on some important person's door that won't let them in.
No.
Because that happens even within corporate settings where employees have a hard time reaching management because the door feels shut. And so for you guys to represent a city and for the door to feel as open as it does is really awesome.
Absolutely. I've been so fortunate to work under two amazing women leaders within the chamber through working there for 10 years.
Yeah.
And both of them I learned so much from, and both kept their doors open and answered the phone. And so I was able to learn from them. And it's important. We need to know what's going on in our community. What do our business members need?
Yeah.
We're there. We're here for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And that comes through with you 120%, because something you said earlier is still resonating in my head, because it kind of made sense. I was like, this is you. Like, you love people's stories.
Yes.
And that's hard to find, because, like, I was joking even before we went on the air that, this is my outlet so I don't drive my family home crazy because I talk too much. But the reality of it is, like, every time I talk to you, I feel like you're like, oh, like you're pulling up a chair and some popcorn because you're excited to hear, And that's a fantastic thing, because everybody in small businesses, they're putting everything they've got into what they have, and that's where their eggs are in the basket.
Right.
And so for someone to say, man, I want to hear your story, that puts some credence into that,
Yeah, it definitely, I put a lot of heart and soul into what I do. Listening to people's stories is just, there's so much you can learn from each person that you meet. And, working at the chamber all these years has just taught me so much about the different businesses and people in our community. We're so fortunate. We have so many good people and just really heartfelt stories.
That's
and someday we'll find a way to share more of that. I like how you're doing the podcast right now, because that helps as well.
Yeah, that's as you know, why we have you here is we've had the ability to do something that not everybody does, and if you don't use it properly, then why have the ability?
Absolutely.
And so that's essentially what the chamber is kind of presenting for the entire valley, is now you have the ability to connect, to have tools, to have questions answered, to have a hearing ear, even if you're just like, I'm having a rough day,
Right.
like, this is the business world and you guys have been through, what did you guys do,
Right.
And like I said, after COVID, having someone like yourself who's willing to sit with people and hear their stories is more important than ever. And so that's big, because everyone's got, there's always different, like even if you study like the presidents of the United States, right? Different personality types. And obviously I have a much more robust extroverted personality. I walk into a room and people hear me from a mile away, you know, like I'm just loud, that's me. But you come into a room and your presence is still felt from the time you enter, and it's done very differently. There's a very wonderful meekness and just a real genuineness that enters. Authenticity is maybe the word I'm looking for, because that's not easy to find, especially when you're at a mixer and everybody's kind of like speed dating with their business cards and stuff.
Right.
And you come in and you're just like, who are you? Well, you know, tell me about yourself.
Right.
It's a little different than, you know, what's your pitch?
Right. Yeah. I want to know more about you. Where'd you grow up? You know, what makes you tick? You know. Kind of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
well, I think that feeds into kind of our next topic, which is shop local. So that's kind of like your manifestation of, okay, so I care about these things in this way. How do we show people that? So can you tell me a little bit more about Shop Local?
Yes. So we actually started this program at the tail end of last year. And so it actually came to fruition at the beginning of this year. And it started out through social media. So we have a Shop Local Facebook page and Instagram, and it's mainly to educate the community and businesses on shopping local and how it affects, you know, our tax dollars, and how it helps, you know, the small businesses who have a dream that want to, you know, continue their dream and start their business.
Yeah.
So through the Shop Local program, we've been able to advertise and promote many of the local businesses through posts on social media and videos. We're starting to put together a Shop Local toolkit for businesses in our community, which we'll be sending those out very soon.
Great.
We also have a page on our website that explains a little bit more about our whole Shop Local program and how businesses can get promoted on there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so if you haven't had a chance to go on, take a look. We run different promotions on there where you can win prizes, and it's, you know, we're getting the word out. There's so many little shops, boutiques, small business products that are in our community that businesses and people might not know about. So this is a way to promote that.
No, that's fantastic. I love everything you were talking about. I mean, we got a small introduction to that when we joined, because Katie brought it up and kind of explained everything. Shout out to Katie. She did a phenomenal job explaining and showing the you know, advantages and just what it's there for. And you know, that's a really unique thing to have pulled, and I really think anyone that's in the Temecula Valley listening to this right now needs to pay attention to the social media campaigns going on. You know, Megan does a fantastic job of getting everything out there, and really just sporting the things that are important to small businesses, whether it's the product, like you mentioned, or maybe it's just something that they're doing, like an event or a value that they're trying to put out there. And Shop Local is a really great way to kind of say, hey, like, we're in this together. Let's do this together.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's phenomenal. You know, that being kind of the interesting part of that is, I think that creates a family culture. And family-wise, one of the things that I hear a lot in our area is we're trying to kind of really nurture the young into kind of getting into that small business Shop Local feel, right?
Yes.
And I think now more than ever, the youth are more concerned about shopping local than I ever was. When I first grew up when I was young, I was like, hey, we're going to go to Walmart, you know? Like, I didn't think about the local shops as much.
Right.
But, you know, you think you know where I'm transitioning, like, to Valley Young Professionals.
Yes.
This has been such a tremendous program. Can you tell me more about what the unique niches that it's trying to affect?
The Valley Young Professionals program was started a little over 15 years ago.
Okay.
And the intention was to have a program for people ages 21 to 40 who are just possibly getting into their business, just starting a business, just getting started in their career.
Right.
And they can come and start to learn how they can get more involved in their business community.
Right.
So the Valley Young Professionals, they have different networking events, they do philanthropy, they do different events to raise money for the different things that they provide.
Yeah.
And they work on different leadership skills as well.
No, that's phenomenal. And being part of it, I can vouch that all that's there.
Okay.
And I think the thing that I like about it is I think I kind of always try to put a different spin on things to make it applicable for me, right?
Yeah.
And I think how many times in life I look back and I'm like, man, if I'd only known this,
right,
where I would be in this trajectory now. Mm-hmm. And you don't, hindsight's 20/20, and you don't want to kick yourself too hard for learning. But if someone or an organization like VYP is there for you and says, hey, we are the people that can tell you what if you had done this before you hit that mark.
Right.
So you don't have to look back and say, man, I missed an opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and they're also they're a network and a support for each other,
Absolutely.
Within that age range.
Yeah.
And, we at the Chamber in the business community learn so much from that age range as well. The different needs and just skills that are needed now.
Yeah.
And they've contributed quite a bit.
No, I agree. I think it does a really good job of keeping every age group engaged.
Yes.
So that we're always working as a team, because it's really easy, just like, going back to school, to kind of get into those pods where we don't realize we're starting to drift apart, and VYP kind of has that nice assembling of, no, let's make sure everybody's included. Everyone's got a voice.
Yes. Which all goes back to collaboration, which
That's right.
I love. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, and kind of spinning off of that now, one of the things that I got to say I probably have enjoyed the most, just because I think some of the people I've gotten to meet, has been the ambassador program.
Yes.
Like, we want to talk about everybody having a voice. I mean, that's a really great program to not only represent the chamber, but to advocate for businesses in ways they didn't even know there was advocacy, right?
Right. Yes. The ambassador program is so wonderful. The ambassadors work so hard for us at the chamber.
Yeah.
So they come in and they get trained and they go out to support us in different events. They call people who need to renew. They make calls to members, just checking up on them. And they're also walking testimonials for us as well, in the fact that, many of them, after joining the chamber, it's changed their business, and they have so much to offer and so much to share with the community.
Yeah.
And I've always appreciated them coming and helping at our events. I am still currently the events director as well, so many of them will come and volunteer, and they'll help with registration or greeting. And one of the most important things that they do is they come to our event and they wear a red ribbon and it says ambassador on it.
Yep.
And they look for the new members that may be timid, not sure, coming in, standing by themselves, and they'll go up and introduce themselves and help introduce them to other members and businesses.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because it works the other way too. Like, I've gotten to know Tom Summers pretty well. I mean, who doesn't? He walks in with that bow tie, and you gotta love the guy, right? He's fantastic. Shout out for you too, Tom. I love you. And you can walk into a room and you maybe connect with somebody that needs some more connections, and all you gotta look for is a red ribbon.
Right.
And the nice thing about that too is, there's different ways people try these things in organizations, and sometimes it feels contrived, right? And you feel like, I'm going to connect you to this person, but you kind of almost feel sorry that you're doing it. and in this particular case, that's never been the case for me. Like, when I bring people in and I've gotten to connect them with ambassadors, I'm like, no, you're in great hands. Like, these are solid people. Like, I'm connecting to Tom Summers or Carly Uriki or, like some of these really just tremendous personalities that care about people.
Yes.
Like Carla and I got to meet up recently and have lunch, and just hearing her heart for the community and as an ambassador, just, oof, you know what I mean? That's just more of a affirmation of why I'm here.
Absolutely. And, just that, having that heart, our chamber is, a big heart in the community. And I think, our staff, board, our ambassadors, VYP, all embody that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, Brooke, I genuinely have loved every second of this. I can't tell you enough. Like, it's been kind of, like I said, I've been giddy, and I kind of feel almost a little selfish, like getting the fact that I got like my own classified time with you, because I know how busy you are. I mean, you even told me you got another event tonight, and I'm like looking forward to dinner, and you're like, no, I got to keep working. And you do it with such grace, with such ease, with such joy.
Thank you.
And so we're so grateful for that. Thank you for shedding light on what everything that the Chamber does, for informing us of what they're capable of doing for people that may be watching the show now, and more importantly, what a great impact they're on our city. And I emphasize our city because it is something that I will always treasure. This is my home.
Wonderful.
And so people that take care of it like it's my home, I will always be grateful for.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So anybody watching at YouTube or just listening on the podcast, I still do this and try to mess with James because I want him to have to put little dialogue boxes up where my fingers are pointing, but he never does. Thank you for tuning in with us. Please come check this out. Come take a look at the Temecula the Temecula Chamber of Commerce website. There's a bunch of events on there that you can see all the time. You can attend even if you're not, depending on what the fees and all that stuff are and registration. But there's definitely ways you can get in and kind of get your head in and get your feet wet. And I highly encourage it. If you're already a member, this is something just to remind you to go get some more businesses involved, because clearly we have some people that really take care of great business. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys soon.